Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish Cast. My name's Gary, and here I am once again to talk to you and to get you listening, to have you listening to English conversation, spontaneous conversation, and of course, and hopefully, getting you to learn, providing you with the new information, and more importantly than that, with new words and expressions and verbs and everything in English. That's the main purpose of this podcast. So I'll ask you, how are you today? I am recording this on a lovely Monday. Well, it's hard to describe the weather today, ladies and gentlemen, because it is sunny sometimes and it's kind of intercalling periods of sun and cloud, It is slightly cool, I would say, slightly chilly, but it's about to get really warm, or at least warmer than I expected at the beginning of this day, but that's no complaint. Much to the contrary, that's a good thing. I love it. I love summer. Summer can be seen by now in the horizon, in the far and rather distant horizon, but it's there. Okay, we can see it. It's on its way, or we are on our ways to go and meet it. Right. Well, November is about to get started, and from November to December, well, it's just a snap of fingers, and we're there. Well, before I start losing the habit of asking you, please go grab your cup of coffee, tea, juice, beer, whatever it takes for you to relax and join me. Today we're going to read an article published by, one of my favorite websites to read things in English, and more than that, to read things in English with my students. That is a place where you can read in English and practice English. So the English written there is for students to practice, right? I'm talking about, I probably mentioned this website here before, but so be it. It's a website called breakingnewsenglish.com. Okay, go and Google it right now. Okay, breaking news English altogether.com. Yeah, you're gonna get straight to the website. As I said, it's one of my favorite websites to use, to read, to get informed, because as the name suggests, yeah, it's a news website, and it's, as the name also suggests, in English, right? So yeah, this I've been using this as a teacher in the past 10 years, basically. Okay, so let's, without further ado, just jump into it. Okay, so one more time, in case you didn't record it, you didn't register it, the name of the website is breakingnewsenglish.com. You Google it, you should easily find it. And the name of the article is Traveling Could Slow Down the Aging Process. That's basically the idea, okay? According to a study we're going to read about, we're going to read this study in this article here. They say that people who travel have everything, or tend to look, or effectively to look younger, or effectively age slower. Okay, so yeah, which means like they will tend to look younger to other people. Okay, people who don't know their real age. Okay, so let's start it. Paragraph 1, reading. Traveling is good for us. There is a saying that travel broadens the mind. Broaden here meaning amplifying. Okay, broad, have the word broad, so broaden as a verb. Okay, amplifying. A new study says that going on trips could slow down the aging process. The travel bug could be one hobby that is healthy. Well, travel bug is a popular expression to use that, well, when people have love or passion for something, okay, and it usually happens in a sudden way, okay, and sudden and not expected way, as if you were bitten by a bug, okay, and started after that this reaction into something. In this case, into traveling. All right. Researchers from Edith Cowan University in Australia said traveling could make us look and feel younger. They said having different experiences and meeting new people could make us more youthful as we get older. Feng Liu Hu, lead author of the research, said tourism isn't just about leisure and recreation. It could also contribute to people's physical and mental health. Mrs. Hu added, aging as a process is irreversible. While it can be stopped, it can be slowed down. Very interesting. Okay, so there is this Chinese-Australian doctor, that is Dr. Feng Li Hu, scientist. I don't know if she's a doctor, probably she is, but she's behind this. She's the lead research, meaning she is the lead as in leader, research, and she says something really true, that is aging is irreversible. The aging process is irreversible, but it can be slowed down in terms of it will inevitably happen, so it can happen in a slower way, so to say. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Let's jump into the second paragraph. The researchers looked at how traveling might affect how we age. They suggested that going on vacations, backpacking, and sightseeing can lower stress. Well, backpacking, in case you're not familiar with the term, means to just go out with nothing but a backpack with, of course, lots of things inside. A sleeping bag, food, accessories, things you will need to do stuff on a trip. And sightseeing is what people call the famous London bus touristic ride around the city, all right? If you've never heard about it, just Google sightseeing London and you will know what I'm talking about. And it is effectively a good idea in case you're going to London soon, right? Or in the future. It's a very good way to get to know the city. I didn't do it because I lived there for 3 years, so I didn't need the bus to get to know the touristic places. I went there. I went to these places myself. But next thing I'll do next time I return with my family to London, I will certainly go for it. But let's go back to the text. Going on trips can also boost our metabolism, which strengthens our immune system. Travel could also help repair body tissue. This helps to slow down the signs of aging. Mrs. Hu said traveling often involves physical activities like hiking, climbing, and cycling. She said these potentially reduce tension and fatigue in the muscles and joints. She added, participating in these activities could enhance the body's immune function and self-defense capabilities. The researchers said traveling could be better than anti-aging creams. Wow. That's just good news, apparently. I've been reading this article with some students, and every time I ask them what do they feel about traveling, if they like traveling, before they even picture their past trips or future trips, they mention the number one obstacle in this subject. Yeah, you probably guessed it right. Money, financial. It's financially unfeasible, undoable traveling these days, right? Everything's so more expensive. Traveling has gotten so more expensive. And, well, this is my impression, guys. Don't take my words too serious here, but I have the impression that people are traveling more today than they were before a pandemic, right? I have a theory. I think that the pandemic I'm sure the pandemic has locked us all down somehow, right? Maybe you didn't lock down properly, but you weren't as free. We were not as free as we were during times of non-pandemic, right? That's a fact. That's no argument. So I think that judging because people did not get to travel in the pandemic, or at least they didn't get to travel as much as they were used to or wanted to. Some people kind of, again, it's my theory, okay, guys, don't judge me. I believe that some people, lots of people, have kind of are kind of letting it vent, meaning putting it outside. They kind of held it inside them, this feeling, this energy for traveling, and then they just letting it go now. Okay, now that people can travel as much as they can, not as much as they will, but as much as they can. That's why I believe that it is a market ongoing. But I didn't check any numbers. It would be interesting if you did check. I will check later on, just out of curiosity. But the episode will be already recorded, so there won't be much to be done, I believe. I'm afraid. So you guys forgive me. You guys know that the main purpose here is having you guys listening to English, spontaneous conversations. So yeah, and of course learning new words and new things, right? I'm not gonna go translating and explaining the text because I mentioned the name of the website and the name of the article. So you guys, if you guys are curious about some words or something that I read that perhaps didn't get too clear or didn't get clear enough, go to the website, check it out, and then it would be an excellent idea if you have the article open for you to read it while you're listening to my voice right now. I mean, when I was a few minutes ago reading the text. Okay, so if you didn't get 100% out of the text, listen to it again, the parts I'm reading it, and then open the website, the breakingnewsenglish.com, and read it as you listen to me reading it. Okay, and check how much it checks, basically. All right. So yeah, that's it for this first part. So I want to ask you, what do you feel? How do you feel about it? Do you think that do you believe that traveling can get us into a relaxation or spiritual elevation or psychological elevation, fantasy, that can help our body chemicals to react in a way that will cause us to age slower? Meaning 10 years from now, say you're 45, you'll look 40 because of the number of trips you've taken during the past years. Well, I'm really curious if there's a comment section below. Please go for it. I want to read it. I want to see it. Because of course nobody knows for sure. Even the scientists don't seem to come to an agreement about it. And of course that there's nothing less predictable than the human body, right? The biology, right? We were talking about the pandemic. You see some people died during the pandemic because of COVID. Some of them, unfortunately, even happened like in a really fast way. A matter of days, they were dead. And some people, most people, according to the doctors, got it and didn't even realize it. Okay, so you see that I'm saying this just to point out the different, how chemically there are big differences between our bodies, right? One interesting thing I heard and read about in the past, not too long ago, but in the past, was that scientists are more and more coming to the agreement that we are much more influenced by what they call epigenetics than the genetics itself. Okay, so what is the difference between genetics, regular quote-unquote regular genetics, and the epigenetics? The regular genetics are the genes you're born with. There's nothing you can do about. Okay, so if your mom and dad are black, you're most likely going to be black. Okay, unless there's a pigmentation thing in your skin that changes it, but you tend to be black. Or if your parents are Asians, what are the odds of you being born blonde and blue eyes, for example? No way, right? So this is genetics, right? But they say that our health, our mindset, our psychologic side, so to say, is, and of course the health is the scientists are apparently coming to think about it more and more, is to have this understanding more and more that we are more influenced, that these things I mentioned are more influenced, get more influenced by the epigenetics than the genetics. So I failed explaining what are epigenetics. Basically, the habits, the set of habits that we have, okay, in everything related to our health. The way we sleep, the way we eat, what we drink, we eat, of course, not only the way we eat or drink, but what we eat and drink. How much we get stressed, okay, how stressful is our life, how many real close friends we have. All these things, the scientists are coming to an agreement that they influence a lot in our life, okay? So when I repeat this, when I think about it, I tend to completely agree with Mrs. Who's studies, right? The scientists we read about, the article whose article we was referring to, okay? Because let's just stop and think. Traveling is something really relaxing in general, right? Of course, if you don't plan it properly, it will be more stressful than working, if possible. But yeah, it is something that changes our mood, right? That affects us positively. Every time you're in a different place, you're breathing a different air. Basically, the smell is different. The places, of course, are completely different, or at least different. And our brain gets benefit from it. Okay, once I heard, and it makes sense, that if you drive every day, say to work or school, by the same way, your brain gets less used than, for example, if you every now and then changes. If you have 3 or 4 different routes, okay, for you to drive to work, for example, they say that that this is really healthy for you to have. That it's really healthy for us to have different paths that we drive our cars, for example, for those of us who drive. But even if you don't drive, by walking the same would have the same effect, because that would, and it makes total sense, stimulate our brain to process the neurons, to process the connections we have, the brain connections we have, and of course, by traveling, our brain gets more excited, for lack of a better word, than ever. Okay, so I understand with that. I'm not an expert, guys, and again, don't take me serious, but I understand with that once our brain gets, as I said, for lack of a better word, excited, it will send signals to our whole body to get things straight. Okay, like, for example, hey, get ready, because our body, this is one scientific understanding, this is not my opinion, our body is not much different, from biologically speaking, from what it was 100,000 years ago. Okay, so our 100,000 years ago ancestors had a biologic body pretty similar to ours, basically. Scientists will say 100% similar, no changes. But anyways, let's just, for safe reasons, say almost similar. Which means that they would, as they would move, they will be exposed to all types of different threats, of different dangers, of different predators, right? And our brain has it. So when we're in a different place, of course, that doesn't mean that we're gonna have to be nervous when we travel. The truth of the matter is, every time we break our routine, we step out of our comfort zone, we tend to feel nervous. And when I say nervous, I mean really nervous, don't we? Yeah, I do. And coming back to the brain sending signals to the body I was talking about, it sends signals to the body like, be ready to run, be ready to fight, be ready to eat. Or to avoid being eating, more specifically. Be ready to copulate, like while you may, come by a female or a male, depending on your sex. And that's it. I believe the same happens when we're traveling. Of course, in the modern world, it's a means for us to enhance our social skills, right? The more we travel, the more we are forced. Of course, there are ways to do that in a lonely way, but the more we do that, the more we're forced to be sociable. Okay, the more sociable we are, in my opinion, the healthier we are, if not physically but mentally, right? The more we talk and interact with people, because we're tribal creatures, basically. Again, no science does. There's no disputes. There's no disputes about it on science, in the scientific area. But that's it. So it makes total sense to me that by traveling we would. I wouldn't put it like we're gonna age. I'm not gonna put it. Traveling would make us age slower, but I believe that having healthy habits in general will make us age slower, or at least look younger. Okay, maybe not effectively being aging slower, but looking better. Right? We're a population that here in Brazil, 60% of our population is with overweight. Meaning they're not fat, but they're not fit. I repeat, they're not fat, but not fit. Okay? We all should be fit. And when I say fit, I don't mean, buff. I don't mean bodybuilder. No, athlete. No, that's not what I'm talking about. If that's the thing, you have an athletic body, excellent. Okay? But that's not what I'm trying to say. What I try to say is inside your I forgot the body mass, BMI, right? Body mass index. Yeah, your BMI, your body mass index. You being inside it, okay? Which is like 23 to 26. Lower than 23, you're too skinny, and over 25, you're overweight. I think lower than 20 and over. So between 20 and 25, IMC. Sorry, BMC. Okay? But that's it. The more healthy things we have, the younger we look. That's a fact. No one dispute that. No one disagree. There's no way, right? And traveling is, in my opinion, so we can close it off for this episode, is a healthy habit. Of course, you have to take care, have to prepare it, so you keep with having a good diet. Because some people travel and just take sandwiches. Okay, if it's a 1 or 2 day trip, fine. But like for a week or 2 weeks, just eating sandwiches, come on, that's not that's a shot on the foot, as we say here in Brazil, right? So it is a healthy habit. It will get your mind to think more, to evolve, to be pushed beyond its limits, and that's why it's so fun. And since it's fun, it's healthy. Okay. Not everything that is fun is healthy, of course, but this point specifically tends to be really, really healthy. And by being healthy, it tends to affecting positively our bodies to work more, to process more, to burn more calories, to increase its metabolism and everything. All of it together, combined, will get us looking younger when we look at a mirror and when others look at us. And this is it for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for your lovely company. I wait for you in the next one. Bye-bye.